Optimism is the belief that you can handle whatever situation you find yourself in. I want to tell you a story about my buddy's dog. His dog's name is Sugar. And here's the thing with Sugar. Sugar's insane. Sugar's a crazy dog. I'm pretty sure he's demon possessed because he just runs all over the place like a wild animal and is just completely out of control, honestly. And so I go over to my buddy's house the other day, and I'm walking in the door. I'm absolutely expecting to be attacked by the dog, and the dog is just completely still. I don't even know what's going on. I look at my buddy. I'm like, Jason, what's wrong with Sugar? Is he medicated? Did you take him to the doggy psychologist? Like, something has happened to your dog. He's like, oh no, I've got his leash under a kitchen chair. It's a little purple chair. Now, Sugar probably weighed 4 times the weight of this chair. And I'm like, this doesn't make sense. But what I didn't know till my buddy explained it is when Sugar was a little puppy, they would take his leash and they would put it under the leg of that chair. And Sugar was so tiny and powerless, he couldn't make that chair move, and he was stuck, right? Sugar learned really, really early on that she didn't have enough strength to go anywhere when she was attached to that chair. Now, Sugar doesn't even try to get away from the grasp of that purple chair, and she's convinced she's not strong enough to pull the chair. Even though she weighs 4 times, even though she could go anywhere she wants to in the house, Sugar is pretty much paralyzed when she's bound to the hopeless situation of the big bad purple chair. Now, let's be clear. I'm happy Sugar's in a state of learned helplessness because it's a lot more comfortable to be at my buddy's house, but I can't help but think how often we find ourselves in a situation just like Sugar, bound up by a situation that has been plaguing us for years and convinced we can't do anything to overcome it. We're paralyzed by hopelessness. We're paralyzed by just this belief that we can't affect change in the situation. And that's where stress and anxiety and depression come from. As humans, we find ourselves in situations where we experience learned helplessness just like Sugar. And when we're in these situations, we become convinced that we'll always revert back to the old story, right? I'm always going to yell at my kids. I'm always going to yell at my wife or my husband. And I've never seen the power of learned helplessness demonstrated so clearly as I have watching couples struggling in a difficult relationship. Sometimes people get so frustrated by the old patterns in the marriage, they feel like there's just no hope going forward. There's no help going forward. And they are metaphorically always feeling like their leash is stuck under the big bad purple chair. They're in a situation just like Sugar where they feel unable to move and in a relationship that's just totally stuck. And if you feel like you're stuck and you feel like learned helplessness is a part of your relationship, I want to tell you this, there's hope. There's hope here. Researchers have found that about 1/3 of people who encountered like a noise or a shock or some uncomfortable thing in the experimental room, they don't descend into learned helplessness. These people are different. They recover, they experience growth even after the negative experience. And what these researchers have found is that there's a common quality of the people, this 1/3 of people that are naturally resilient to learned helplessness, and it's called optimism. Optimism is the belief that you can handle whatever situation you find yourself in. Doesn't matter what is coming at me. It doesn't matter whether I feel stuck. I believe that I can move forward. And if you're ready to engage optimism instead of learned helplessness, you've got to focus on the battleground of your mind. You've got to monitor the negative thoughts, the ones that tell you your relationship will never get better. He will always act like that. She will always be cold and indifferent. He will always not be interested in doing anything around the house. And here's the thing. You've got to challenge those thoughts. You can't let them sit in your mind and focus on them. You've got to allow yourself to just go full force into this one belief that says, God is stronger. He's bigger. The God that's in me, greater is He than he who's in the world. God spoke the world into existence. He's got my marriage. And even if in the past you failed at confronting the situation in your marriage, you've got to believe that you have the ability to respond to these setbacks. So if you're living in learned helplessness and you feel just like Sugar, just focus on the reality There's a God that's bigger than me, who's not surprised by anything I'm going through, and He has a plan to redeem my marriage.
Hey friends, we really hope you're enjoying the marriage conversations here on our A Better Us YouTube channel.
We have hundreds of more helpful marriage videos designed to give you hope and tools to make your marriage even better.
Right. And you can see just a few options we think you might like here and here. So keep exploring.
Oh, and make sure you subscribe by clicking here so you don't miss out on all the great marriage help we have coming your way all the time.